That's the speed.
A very good afternoon to all the circular cricket fans out there and to our viewers. I know it's been a while since the last show, but as I promised, the next time when I see you guys, we'll have something special for you. So, welcome to a very special live webcast. In case you're wondering why this is special, for the first time ever, we have world-renowned motivational speaker and the celebrated author of You Can Win and numerous other books, Mr. Shiv Khera, with us. Mr. Khera, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. I'm grateful.
Wonderful,
Thanks a
sir.
lot.
It's great to have you. And I know this is the first ever for us, for you on the show. But if I'm not mistaken, this is also first of its kind for you, as in a live interaction on a social media platform, right?
That is right. Absolutely. It's the first one for me, too. Yeah, I'm looking forward.
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic. Now, before we dive into the conversation, just a couple of questions regarding social media. You have millions of fans across the globe, sir. What took you, what kept you away for so long to get onto this medium?
Well, people went through technology pretty fast, and personally, I was still learning SMSs, by the way. So, so I got kind of left behind. Now I got to do a little catching up, and which I'm going to accelerate with professionals like TSD and all these people moving on and taking global.
Wonderful. I think you're going to catch up very soon then, sir. Right. So before I present the topic that we're so eagerly waiting to hear your thoughts on, let me just welcome our other guests who are joining us live with you from different locations in India. Let me just say a quick hi to all of you. Imam, hi. How are you, man? Unmute yourself, Imam. I think Mr. Kira can't hear you.
Hi Pankaj, hi Mr. Kera. Fantastic, thank you so
Hi,
much. And it's great to be a part of such a fantastic
I'm
hangout this
grateful. I'm
once in a
grateful.
half.
Thanks a lot.
Right. Thank you, Imam. Mohana.
Hi, sir. Hi, Mr.
Hi.
Khera.
Hi.
Well, with a lovely smile, Mohana says
Great
hi.
seeing you. Yeah.
Pragati, why don't you say hello?
Hello, Mr. Khera. It's a pleasure being on this hangout today.
Oh, thanks a lot. I'm
Thanks.
looking to interact with you for the next few minutes anyway. Grateful.
Yeah.
Right. We have three others. There's Umesh. Umesh, a quick hi from you, please.
Hi, Mr. Kira. Really excited about the hangout today.
Hey,
Uh,
hi Umesh.
definitely looking forward to learn a lot from you.
Thank you,
And I
sir. I'm looking forward myself.
thank you, Umesh. And I kept these two last two gentlemen for the last because I know they're big fans. They've read their books. They both have read your books and are big fans. Let's just say go to Puneet. Puneet, come in. Puneet, are
Hello,
you
sir. I
there?
have read your. Yeah. Hello, sir.
Hi Puneet, how are you?
I'm
In your
fine, sir. I
current
have read
job?
your book.
Yes, sir.
I have read you. Yeah, I have read your book, and really looking forward to listen from you live, and I'm really excited about that.
Well, thanks a lot. I'm looking forward, and your colored glasses make you look even powerful. Yeah, go ahead.
Great. Thanks, Puneet. And then we have Vikram. Vikram is a big fan. I think all of us know that. Vikram, say hi to Mr. Khera.
Mr. Kira, it's a pleasure and honor to meet you, and I hope to have a good interaction with you today.
Vikram, you are special. You are a fellow mod knight, I understand. And man, I'm looking forward.
Same here, sir.
Hey, thank you.
It is so crazy that now you brought that up that both of us modernize. I'm a dip side, so maybe there's some rivalry going on, but we won't dive into that one.
Yeah,
We-
So that will
that
take.
was inherent, Pankaj. The rivalry was inherent.
yeah,
Hasn't
absolutely,
stopped.
absolutely. It never stops till the day we die. Perfect, perfect. Now that we've said hi to everyone, let's just before we obviously start talking about the real topic, which is about what makes people like Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, these big stars, and what are the things they do differently in your own thoughts. But before that, just a quick word on Mr. Kira. Are you following the IPL? What do you make of that tournament?
Well, I watch cricket, though I am not a regular follower of the IPLs anyway, and I think invariably it ends up that I do watch an hour in the evening before I go to sleep. and it's quite interesting, and especially the matches that are neck to neck. Those are the ones exciting because you never know who's going to win at that point. But where you find there are 30 balls and 30 runs to be done, well, that's a piece of cake. You know, that's where you find that the batsman and the winning team sort of is literally playing with kids. But where the gap is high with the runs and the balls, that is the time you wonder, is he going to do it or he's going to knock off? Those are the exciting ones, really, and that's what I watch. And the one that I saw last night, it was nice, but they had 70 balls and 75 runs. I said, that's the victories in the pocket. So that was not that kind of exciting, but it was good.
Right. You absolutely hit the nail on the head. In fact, you're talking like almost like a cricket expert. And Imam, I know he's smiling out there. He's wondering if his job is in jeopardy as a cricket expert now.
All right, maybe I'll look for another job myself.
Fantastic. Now, you know, Virat, he's a Delhi boy. What do you make of him? I'm sure you've read about him. You've seen quite a few of his innings. What do you make of him?
Well, I've seen him play, and of course I've read on him. But I'll tell you what, certainly you can see the fighting spirit in this guy. You see his facial expressions, his body language, the way he moves, even with the strength that he hits the ball, all put together, I observed that, all put together certainly shows that he is not playing with his hands, he's playing with his heart. And that is the difference. In fact, one of the greatest players in the world said, a high jump record, he said, somebody asked him, how do you create a world record of high jump, clearing 7'4" a bar? And his answer was, I throw my heart over the bar and my body follows. Man, how can he not be a champion? That's the question. Amazing. Now let me share with you something rather crucial. There is a book written which is called 10,000 Hours. Anybody who practices anything 10,000 hours, between them and the others, there is a huge difference. Mark Spitz created the world record in swimming. And he was asked, he said, in the last 4 years, I've trained 10,000 hours, which translates into 2,500 hours per year, which translates into close to 8 hours per day, no Sunday. Imagine, how can he not be a winner? And when one of the journalists said, you won 7 gold medals in Munich in 1972, must be a lucky day. And Mark Spitz said to the journalist, you go sit in the water for 8 hours every day for the next 4 years, your body will shrivel. Did I get lucky? That is the question. Now, I just want to make a point, Pankaj, here, and that is, what separates a Michael Jordan from other players in basketball? What separates a Tendulkar from other players in cricket? And what separates a Virat Kohli probably from others? Now, question is, do they always score a century? Answer is no. Many times they go out on zero also. But what is the difference between them and others is their batting average is much higher. We do sales training internationally for Fortune 100 companies. The worst salesperson in the world might sell 1 in a million, and the best salesperson in the world cannot sell 100%. But the difference is their closing ratio is much higher, and that is the difference between a superstar versus one more players. And by the way, this is not only true in the sports field or athletics, this is true in offices, this is true in real life, this is true anywhere. These behavior patterns continue in our behavior. You know why? Because they are attitudinal. It's an attitude. How come under the same set of circumstances, some people break records while others break themselves? How come? So think about it. People like Michael Phelps. 2 years prior to the Olympics, he fractured his hand.
Right.
And the doctor said, you cannot get into the water anymore. Now, Michael Phelps was preparing for this event for a decade. He couldn't see his lifetime dream shatter. He told the doctor, I will get into the water. I won't use my hands. I'll use my legs. And he continued practicing. In 2008 at Beijing. He created history, broke Mark Smith's record, and won 8 gold medals. And one of the events was a 100 meters butterfly stroke. And guess what was the distance between him and the person who came second? It was 1/100th of a second. I don't know how you calculate it, but that was the distance between him and the person who came second. And he said one thing. He said, athletes train 15 years for 15 seconds of performance. Do they get lucky? Did they get lucky? Bottom line is, that is the difference between the winners and the whiners. See, winners say it is difficult, but it is doable. Losers say it is doable, but it's too difficult. Winner is part of the solution. Loser is always part of the problem. A winner makes their days count. Losers count their days. And that is the difference all the way. Difference between winners and whiners. Winners do it in spite of problems, not in absence of. Losers always rationalize. You give them everything, they will still not do the job. They will still not perform. But winners do it in spite of problem, not in absence of. Look at this guy, Michael Phelps. See, he had a problem. He had a fracture. See, people like him make you redefine the word success. Success is not absence of problems. It is overcoming problems. It is not absence of failure. It is overcoming failure. And that is the difference between a Tendulkar and people like Virat Kohli. I understand. Before, Tendulkar used to go into any match. He used to practice at least 1,500 balls, 1,500 before every match. Well, no wonder he performed. And that's the difference between him or them and the others.
Wow, that was very insightful, sir. Thank you so much for that. In fact, when you were talking about Michael Phelps and his injury and how he overcame that with this rigorous training and not giving up ever, I think I will draw an analogy here with Virat. I think Imam would agree because I think a couple of matches just prior to him taking his team through to the playoffs for this season of the IPL, he had a split webbing, and he batted with that. He batted magnificently, and he scored some 50s nonchalantly. Yes, sir. You want to say something, please, sir? Go ahead.
I'm not able to listen. I'm not able to hear you properly.
Can you hear me, sir, now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So I was just drawing an analogy between the example that you mentioned about Michael Phelps and his injury and how he overcame that. I think a very similar example right now would be what happened to Virat Kohli just, I think, 2-3 matches ago, where he had an injury in his hand, which is the lead hand while you're batting, his left hand. There was a split webbing. And it almost seemed like it didn't matter to him at all. And his performance with that webbing, his fielding performance on the ground, it did not have any effect on his attitude. In fact, it seemed to have spurred him even more to be more positive. And his batting performance in the next 3 games has been phenomenal. I mean, it never seemed like he had even a wound. Forget that 7 or 8 stitches he had on his left hand.
That is true. In fact, that's why I said, winners do it in spite of problem, not in absence of. They overcome. Losers always rationalize. You know something, in sports, there is something called a loser's limb. You know what a loser's limb is? See, when they have to run and catch a ball all the way, and when they're not able to do it, at the last point, the last 3, 4, 5 points, they start limping. As if they cramp their leg. At the last, this is called the loser's limb. Always they run hard, or they're not able to catch it, or they don't put hard enough, and they miss a catch. And last point, have you noticed? They start limping. Check out anywhere. And it shows, oh, this guy couldn't catch because he developed a limb. Well, he developed a limb. Who knows what? Because he missed the catch. Or it is the other way around. So the bottom line is, people, granted, the best players in the world cannot score 100%, and the worst ones might score by default. But people at the top, they are consistent performers, and they don't rationalize. That is the key. They don't make excuses. And they put in the effort first, and the results follow automatically. They give first. This is like a farmer who has to sow first before they reap. But you know the kind of world we're living today, people want to reap before they sow. It doesn't work that way. They want to be rewarded before they achieve anything. How many times have you heard people talking? They want a full day's package sales. They want a full day's salary, and they do half day's job. How can they get anywhere in life? And no wonder they keep complaining. I never get anywhere. Well, how can you get anywhere? Well, you shouldn't get anywhere. You should be thrown out anyway. Bottom line is, we've got to do the right job. You know what? There is commitment required, integrity required, and that is the key.
Right. Perfect. Very well said, sir. Let me just go to the two other guests that I forgot to introduce at the beginning of the show, and my apologies for that. There is Kriti in the studio with Mr. Khera, and there is Jay. Let me just start with Jay. Jay, I believe you do have questions for Mr. Khera as well, so why don't you just take the floor? Go ahead.
Okay, good. So, thank you for...
Make it easy for me, my friend. Go ahead.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak to Mr. Khera. It's been an honor to be sitting next to him. We spoke about aggression. We spoke about Virat being a great person coming up. But wanted to check with you, is it okay to actually be aggressive when, we've known Virat as a person who comes with a lot of aggression, a lot of enthusiasm. And in sometimes, like in yesterday's match also, we did see that before they won the match, he actually started showing the signs of a winner, which was like he started getting excited about it. He was expected to be a brash guy earlier as well. So is it okay for a champion to be a little more aggressive than a usual person?
Well, the word is enthusiastic. The word is spirited. You see, one needs to maintain their cool. Easier said than done. But you see, passion is an emotion. And you can see and you can feel passion when you talk to people, when you meet people, the way they shake hands, the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they move. You can see in their eyes. Have you noticed one thing? You observe Virat's eyes. There is fire in it.
Yeah.
And that fire in the eyes shows the fire in the belly. Yeah. Which is what? You see, in the sports, in the business community, we call it the fire in the belly. In the sports community, we call it the killer instinct. Yeah. You got to have that killer instinct. How can you not? You see, and by the way, the winning attributes have never changed since history. Go check out all through the history. You find positive thinkers have always been in minority. Always. And somebody said, well, if you want to succeed in life, just see what the masses are doing, do the opposite, you will be successful. Yeah. Because masses have never been. In fact, somebody asked Socrates 2000 years ago, what is the secret to success? And he asked the young man to walk to the river, and he did, till the water came to the neck. And by surprise, Socrates caught hold of this kid by the hair, ducked him into the water. Kid wanted to get out, but Socrates kept him there. Till the kid started turning blue. So Socrates pulled him out straight. And the first thing the kid did was he took a deep breath. And Socrates asked him, son, when you were underwater, what did you want the most? He said, air. He said, there is no secret to success. When you want success as badly as you wanted air underwater, you'll have it, and nobody will be able to stop you. This is called not desire. This is called burning desire. Burning desire. And in the business community, this is called fire in the belly. In the sports community, we call it the killer instinct. Yeah. And I'll tell you one thing. There are people who play for the sake of playing, and it shows in the enthusiasm in the spirit. Yeah. You notice some people are spirited, the enthusiasm lasts for one hour. Some people's enthusiasm lasts for one day. Some people's enthusiasm lasts for 1 week. And some people's enthusiasm takes them through life, and they are the winners. That's it. It's no secret, by the way. This is no secret. That's all.
Right. Perfect. Jay, thank you for that question, and thank you, Mr. Khera, for answering that. Kriti, over to you.
Hi.
Hi.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
So I just had a question that today's generation, so there are a lot of hardships, there's a lot of stress coming up. So what would you suggest them that how do they cope with the current scenario and the work pressures and the work life? So what would you like to tell them?
Well, first of all, I want to make a point. There is no substitute to hard work. There is no substitute. And go check out all success stories are stories of great failures. This is not new today. Thousands of years. Go back. Walt Disney went bankrupt 7 times in his life. People don't know it, but that happened. Steve Jobs, look at it. A great story. His Stanford speech. He says, I came to this world unwanted. The day I was born, I was put up for adoption. Guess he dropped out later from schools and colleges. Anyway, they all success stories. Michael Phelps fractured his hand. But they did their job. So one thing is, there is no substitute to hard work. And especially, let me ask you, today's generation, it is a cliche. Don't work hard, work smart. Well, if you could become a neurosurgeon by taking a weekend course, tell me what would be happening outside. You would have hawker stalls from doctors, neurosurgeons, chopping their head. You'd be dead. You can't become a neurosurgeon by taking a weekend course. They have to go through the whole process. So there is no substitute to hard work. You got to work hard, and you got to work smart too, along with it. And unless people take pride in their performance, they'll never do the right thing. They'll always keep making mistakes. And then they say, oh, it's human to err. Well, there's a nice little saying. Why does a pencil have an eraser on top? Well, you make a mistake, you erase it. But there's another good saying which says, if the eraser wears out faster than the pencil, man, you are making too many mistakes. You're making too many mistakes. That does not make sense.
Thank you, Kriti. Thank you, Kriti, for that question. Let me just now bring in our participants who are joining from different parts of the country. And let me just go to Hyderabad first to begin with. And we have Imam coming in from Hyderabad. Imam?
Thank you,
Go
Pankaj. No,
ahead.
first of all, I think, I think it's been, I've become quite a rich person in the past 15 to 20 minutes listening to what sir has to say. I think it's been really motivational. And now I understand why, everybody wants to seek sir's advice whenever there are a lot of issues in their life. But question to you, sir, I think, I'll just touch base on the cricket subject and ask you a question. I think what you spoke about Virat is something even an expert cannot, because I think whatever you said is absolutely true about this guy. And as Pankaj was saying, he had 8 stitches in his hand, and he left alone, batting. He came back on the field and wanted to take the ball and field. I just want to ask you, you spoke about killer instinct. How much do you think is too much? Because on the cricket field, being a sports person, a lot of people, look up to you. A lot of kids look up to you, want to follow what their superstar is doing. So, aggression, how much is too much as per you?
Well, look, this is true in any field, anywhere, whether it's sports, music, films, or in the business community. Look, today people look at the Tatas, the Godrej, the Infosys as mentors. Narayan Murthy is a mentor in the business community. Similarly, in the sports community, Michael Jordan is a mentor. People look up to him. And same thing in the cricket, any field for that matter. But that is where the person who is at the top, it is not only a time to celebrate, I feel it brings in a lot of responsibility, and they have a greater obligation towards society. I'll just share with you an example. If a person reaches at a top and so many young people are looking at people like the Virat Kohlis and Tendulkars or some other people. If I was if I was at that level with them, I would never endorse a liquor product. I will never endorse a cigarette product or a tobacco product. You know what? You are sending wrong messages. Absolutely. You are ruining a generation. So youth is looking for good role models, and good role models include behavior, integrity, relationships, ethics, morality. See, winning is important, but winning fair and square is the crucial part, not by hook or by crook. That is not winning, that is called cheating. And there's a difference. Now, there are people like the Maradonas. Somebody asked, was he a champion or was he a cheat? Somebody asked, was Louis Armstrong a champion? Was he a cheat? What about people like Tiger Woods? Was he a champion? Was he a cheat? Well, you notice one thing. All of a sudden, people who were considered as role models and mentors, well, their fan base, people who followed them, they were disappointed. Obviously, I think it brings in a lot of responsibility for people at the top.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Himani. Thank you, sir. Mohana, over to you. Why don't you ask a question? Mohana, I think you'll have to unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Okay, I think Mohana is struggling with audio, so we'll just move on to Umesh here. Umesh, Umesh, go ahead, yeah. Mohana will come back to you. Umesh, go ahead, please.
Yeah, hi. So my question here is, sir, you've been an entrepreneur yourself. So I'd like to know about the current generation, the new gen startups that are there. What are your views on that?
Come again, please.
Yeah. So what I was saying was, you are an entrepreneur yourself. Okay. So
Right.
what are your views on the new gen startups that are happening right now? It comes like almost every week now. So what are your views on that?
Well, there are many people, in fact, entrepreneurship has become a buzzword. And there are so many startups, and which is great. The spirit is important. But I'll tell you one thing, people who have not maintained their integrity even within entrepreneurship or starting a new venture. Are you aware that 50% of businesses fail within the first 5 years globally? And in the US, 90% businesses fail within the first 5 years. Now that is alarming. So entrepreneurial spirit requires many elements. It is not only an element of risk taking, but commitment, leadership, becoming a mentor. There is organization required. And I think many people, young people, who do not get the experiences first, the chances of failing are much higher. But people who have gained a little experience of 5 to 7 years before they venture out, their chances of success are way higher. And by the way, there's a research to it also. It was a scientific research done on this. So I personally, and for that matter, keep in mind, being an entrepreneurial, it's a spirit. Whether a person is working in an organization, in corporates, one needs to take ownership. And ownership is what we are talking is being an entrepreneur. Even if I'm working for somebody, should I not take ownership of what I do? And if I do not take ownership, can I perform? But the moment I take ownership, guess what? My decision-making ability changes, my problem-solving ability changes, and that is really.
Delhi team, if you can hear me, I think we've lost our audio from the studio. Could you just have a quick look into that, please? I think something happened to the mic. Viewers, sorry about this. Sorry about this audio. We're just going to have a quick fix and we'll resume our conversation with Mr. Khera. Just give us a moment to fix this. Thank you. Team Delhi, could you please check Anish, DT? Please sort this out.
Okay. Pankaj, can you hear us now?
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, fantastic. We're back.
Thank you. Thank you. Viewers, sorry about that.
Question, Pankaj. Can you hear us?
You can do that to you, so you were aware of this. So now we're back on Mr. Khera. Okay, so let's just go to Mr. Khera's fellow modernite, Vikram here. Vikram, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Vikram, are you there with us?
Mute yourself, please.
Vikram, I think we've lost Vikram. Maybe
Can you unmute and speak?
issue there. Right. So let me just ask a few questions that we've been getting on social media. I'm going to present them to you, Mr. Khera. I think this is a very simple question, but people want to know because this is obviously coming with the premise of cricket. Like, who's your favorite cricketer?
My favorite cricketer, well, obviously, Tendulkar has been one, and now, of course, I notice Virat Kohli is a great guy. And one point, of course, I admired Yuvraj also. I mean, that guy was a pretty consistent fellow to play. So, one time means him, of course, while he was playing. So, yeah, these are the ones that stand out to me as of now.
Perfect, sir. I think with the Rio Olympics happening very soon, one of the fans on the platform is asking, what's your opinion that should cricket be a part of the Olympics?
Should cricket be a part of the Olympics? I think so. Oh, yeah, why not? I think so. Absolutely, it's a great game, and I personally, if I had a choice and I would to make a decision, I would include it. Absolutely, I would.
Right. Wonderful. I think we're running out of time for the show, so I'm going to just present this last question to you, sir. Would love to have your thoughts onto this as we close the show. Post that. And I love this question myself. So, does one need to be born a leader, or can she or he be groomed to be one?
Well, the groomed ones are also born anyway. Bottom line is, well, that's on the lighter side, but bottom line comes down to, tell me, have you ever seen a born doctor? Have you heard of a born lawyer? Have you heard of a born engineer? Have you heard of a born politician? When a kid is born, you say a girl or a boy is born. But he was an eminent attorney, doctor, lawyer, something, whatever. But you know something? It means by training they became that way. It is training, it is conditioning, it is teaching, learning, practicing, and putting your hours. You got to pay your dues, and then only a person becomes a good leader. Now, keep in mind, a good leader must be physically strong, financially strong, intellectually strong, emotionally strong, and spiritually strong. They have to be strong in all areas put together. If they are weak in any one of them, they're gone. And learn qualities right from the beginning. And people development or leadership is not an event. You can't take a weekend course and become a leader. It is a process of learning over a period of time.
Fantastic, sir. Thank you so much.